Okay, let's be honest. No one really enjoys that whole awkward office sign-in thing.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like, where's the pen? And the ink is smudged, and you feel like you're back in high school signing in late for class.
Right.
So what if I told you there's a way to ditch that whole clipboard chaos and actually make a great first impression instead?
Now you're talking. It's actually kind of amazing how such a simple thing as that sign-in process can really impact a company's image,
Yeah.
not to mention their efficiency. We're diving into the world of visitor management software today.
Specifically, Teamgo and Envoy.
Right. And you've shared a comparison blog post from Teamgo for us to look at.
Which is interesting because obviously they've got skin in the game.
For sure. They definitely do.
It's like reading a restaurant review, but it's written by the owner. You kind of want to be a little cautious, right?
Absolutely.
So our mission today is to help you decode this information, spot any potential spin, and ultimately make the best choice for your workplace.
Yeah, we're going to be your guides through the marketing jungle today, separating the facts from the hype.
All right, so let's jump right into the features. Both Teamgo and Envoy offer way more than just a digital sign-in sheet.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We're talking automated check-in, check-out. You get real-time notifications when your guests arrive, even detailed reports on your visitor traffic.
It's like upgrading from a horse and buggy to a Tesla.
Right.
And both platforms also offer free and paid plans, but we'll get to the pricing details a little later.
Okay.
What's interesting is how Teamgo kind of presents their strengths.
Yeah, well, they actually boast about consistently receiving perfect user ratings for their features, like self-check-in, visitor tracking, registration management. They even give you a handy chart comparing their 5-star ratings to Envoy's slightly lower scores.
Yeah.
A little bit of shade, perhaps.
Well, this is where the critical thinking comes in. Remember, the source is Teamgo.
Right.
It's like a student grading their own homework. So we have to ask, are these ratings really representative? How does Envoy actually do on other review platforms? It's something to think about.
Yeah, that's a great point. Speaking of getting more for your money, let's look at how these platforms stack up in terms of pricing. So Envoy offers a free plan, but it's pretty basic.
Yes, it is.
Their standard plan, with more bells and whistles, comes in at $131 per month.
And I think it's important to point out that the pricing is actually per location,
Oh, wow.
which can really add up if you've got multiple offices.
Right.
Right. Now, Team Belango takes kind of a different approach.
Okay.
Their Essentials plan is $49 a month, and they emphasize the value proposition.
Yeah.
They highlight all the features included in Essentials that you don't get with Envoy's free plan.
Oh, interesting.
It's very clever how they compare their entry-level paid plan against a free plan, making their offer seem super attractive. So is it a fair fight? It's definitely up for debate. Now, they do mention Envoy's standard plan has additional features like badge printing, legal document handling, but then they move on to something rather unexpected.
Yeah, they actually include some, let's say, less than glowing Glassdoor reviews of Envoy.
Yes.
And they focus on employee dissatisfaction. That's a bit of a detour, isn't it?
Kind of like they're saying, hey, not only is our product better, our company's also just a much happier place to work, so why would they even go there?
Right.
It could be a subtle way of implying that unhappy employees just don't build a great product.
Interesting.
It's a bit of a leap, but it's a very interesting tactic.
So are they trying to plant a seed of doubt about Envoy's stability and reliability then?
That's what it seems like.
I see where they're going with this.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, we've uncovered a lot here. The blog definitely paints Teamgo in a positive light, emphasizing user satisfaction, the value for your money. But what's the bigger picture?
Let's think back to the beginning. We talked about the source and its potential for bias.
Right.
And now we see how that bias might be playing out. So we need to approach this information with some healthy skepticism.
Okay, so what questions does this blog raise for you? What are Envoy's strengths that maybe weren't even mentioned? What's not being said? I feel like we've got a lot to unpack.
We do.
Welcome back to our deep dive into visitor management software.
Where we're not just comparing features, we're
Right.
dissecting marketing tactics and sharpening those critical thinking skills.
Exactly. In part one, we analyzed that Teamgo blog post and uncovered some, shall we say, strategic framing of information.
It definitely left us with some unanswered questions.
It did. And, you encourage our listeners to actually do some independent research, explore other review sites, even test out free trials if they're available.
Multiple perspectives are key.
Yeah.
What stands out to you so far from the blog post and your own research? What are your priorities when it comes to visitor management?
I'm actually really intrigued by something you mentioned earlier about integration with other tools,
Okay.
because that seems essential for a lot of workplaces that are already using a whole suite of different software.
Imagine if your visitor management system synced with your calendar,
Yeah.
automatically notified hosts when guests arrived, or even integrated with your security system for more robust access control.
Right.
That's where things get really interesting.
Yeah. No more frantic text to colleagues like, are they here yet? I don't see them. It streamlines everything.
It does. But, while integration offers all this fantastic potential, it's important to also consider the flip side.
Okay.
Because relying heavily on these interconnected systems, well, it could create vulnerabilities if one system goes down.
Oh, that's a great point. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that time our entire office Wi-Fi went down and we were all stuck with pen and paper.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Back to the Stone Age. So when we're researching Teamgo and Envoy,
Yeah.
we should definitely be looking into their integration capabilities.
Yes, absolutely.
What platforms do they support? How seamless is the process?
Definitely. And speaking of seamlessness, let's talk about the user experience.
Right.
I mean, the blog touched on those user ratings,
Yeah.
but I'm curious about the actual interface.
Uh-huh.
Is it intuitive? Is it easy to navigate for both visitors and employees?
We want a system that feels modern and efficient. Not like we're stuck in the technological Stone Age.
Mm-hmm.
I'd much rather have a visitor be greeted with a sleek tablet for check-in than like a dusty old binder.
Exactly. It should reflect your brand.
Yeah.
Create that positive first impression.
Yes.
Imagine, visitors checking themselves in on a tablet, hosts getting those instant notifications with the guest's photo.
Okay.
You can customize that whole experience to your company.
No, that's what I call a VIP welcome.
Yeah. What about the administrative side of things?
Yeah. So on the back end, you'd want to have access to all the data you need
Right.
to manage that visitor flow, track activity, generate insightful reports.
It's about control and visibility, but without being bogged down by manual processes.
Okay. So we've talked about features, pricing, user experience, integrations. But what about security? That seems super crucial when we're talking about visitor management.
Oh, yeah. Especially when you're handling sensitive information or you're in a high security environment.
Exactly.
Security is paramount.
Right.
We need to look beyond those marketing buzzwords and into the specifics.
Okay.
What kind of data encryption do these platforms offer? Do they comply with all the relevant industry standards and regulations?
But what about things like multi-factor authentication, like that extra layer of security where you need a code from your phone or something to log in?
Right.
Or visitor screening where you can actually check against watch lists. Are those even options?
Yeah, these are all critical questions to ask. You want that peace of mind, right?
Yes.
Knowing that your workplace and your data are protected.
Oh, sure.
Security should never be an afterthought.
So speaking of protection, what about support?
Oh, that's a good one.
What if something goes wrong or you have a question? Do these companies offer helpful resources or a responsive support team?
Excellent point. You don't want to be left stranded if there's like a technical glitch.
Right.
Or you need help setting things up.
Exactly.
So look for those platforms that offer comprehensive documentation,
Okay.
FAQs, tutorials, even live chat support if it's available.
It's like having a safety net for those just-in-case moments. It's
Yeah.
reassuring to know help is there.
Absolutely. You want to feel confident
Yeah.
that you've got the support to successfully implement and actually use the software.
Right. Okay, so to recap, we've covered a lot of ground. From features and pricing, user experience, integration, security, support. It seems like there's a lot to consider when you're choosing between Teamgo and Envoy.
A lot to consider. And remember, that blog post was just one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
Gathering information from diverse sources and forming your own opinion is really crucial.
Yeah.
Don't rely solely on one perspective.
You know what? I'm really glad we took the time to really dissect it.
Me too.
Because it did highlight some really important points, but it also made me realize how crucial it is to do your own homework.
Yes.
Compare the features, read those independent reviews, trust your instincts.
The best visitor management software isn't one size fits all.
Right.
It's about finding the system that works seamlessly for your specific needs
Yeah.
and enhances the experience for everyone that walks through your doors.
That's a great point. Well said. Before we move on to part 3, where we'll kind of wrap up our deep dive with some final thoughts and key takeaways.
I want to leave our listener with a thought.
Okay.
Consider the message you want to send with your visitor management system.
Oh.
What first impression do you want to create?
That is a great question to ponder. A first impression can make all the difference.
Yeah, visitor management is more than just security and efficiency these days.
Right.
It's about creating a positive and memorable experience that reflects your company's values, sets the tone for every interaction.
So stay tuned for part 3, where we bring everything together and equip you with the insights to choose the best option for your workplace. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into visitor management software.
We've explored the features, the pricing, user experience, the integration, security, support, really the whole 9 yards.
We even went into those Glassdoor reviews and the company culture, recognizing that it's not just about the technology itself, but also the people, the values behind it.
It's about understanding that bigger picture.
Yeah.
The motivations, the marketing, and how all those choices can really impact your workplace experience.
So after all this unpacking, what does it all mean? What are our key takeaways from this deep dive?
Well, both Teamgo and Envoy offer valuable solutions for modernizing your visitor management.
Yeah.
They're packed with features that go way beyond that old traditional sign-in sheet. They promise a streamlined workflow, enhanced security, and just a more positive experience for everyone.
No more trying to decipher handwriting on those tattered sign-in sheets.
Right, exactly. But as we discovered, there's a lot more to consider than just that list of features and a price tag.
It's true.
It's about understanding your specific needs, your budget, and your priorities. What's the right fit for your company culture and your vision for the workplace?
And it's about reading between the lines,
Yeah.
questioning those glowing testimonials,
Yeah.
recognizing that potential bias at play.
Right.
That Teamgo blog post was quite the case study in marketing tactics.
It was a masterclass, really,
Yeah.
emphasizing those strengths, maybe downplaying some weaknesses, and even just subtly nudging us towards their perspective. But we're not passive recipients of information.
We're active participants.
Exactly.
We're informed decision makers who can see through the marketing smoke and mirrors.
That's what this deep dive has been all about.
Exactly.
We've equipped you with the knowledge and the critical thinking skills to make those informed choices on your own.
So as you continue your search for the perfect visitor management software, remember to ask those tough questions.
Yes.
Explore those multiple perspectives and trust your instincts.
Consider the user experience, integration capabilities, those security measures, support options, and even the company culture behind that product. It all contributes to a successful implementation.
At the end of the day, it's about finding the best fit for your unique workplace, your vision for the future.
That's what we hope you'll take away from this deep dive.
Before we wrap up, we want to leave you with one final thought-provoking question.
We focused on visitor management software, but these lessons we've learned about marketing, bias, critical thinking, they apply to so many areas of our lives.
It's true.
From the products we buy to the news we consume, we're constantly being bombarded with information that's designed to influence our decisions.
That's a great point.
So as you navigate this very complex world, just remember the power of informed choice.
Yeah.
Question your sources, seek out multiple perspectives, and trust your own judgment.
Because the most valuable knowledge is that knowledge that empowers you to make the best decisions.
For yourself and for your world.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay empowered.